Thank you for staying with us. Now we turn to Uganda. Uganda heads towards the 2026 elections under the shadow of political policing. For decades, the country's police has been criticized for partisan interventions, often using excessive force against opposition supporters. In November 2020, more than 100 persons were killed during protest over the arrest of opposition candidate Robert Yagolanyi, better known as Bobi Wine. A reminder of how security forces shaped the political landscape. Under President Yoweri Museveni, in power since 1986, the police have become a central pillar of the ruling national resistance movement. Officers are seen mobilizing ruling party supporters, restricting opposition caravans, and even displaying party symbols as part of their identity. Researchers argue this reflects an ethos of cadreship rather than neutrality, where police see themselves as custodians of the political order. As the January 2026 vote approaches, the question is clear. Will Uganda's police act as impartial guardians of public security or continue as instruments of political control? Well, joining me to discuss this is Sam Wanda, as the managing partner, Kato Wanda and Arinda Advocates, of course, joining from Kampala in Uganda. I also have Daron Bartlett, is a journalist. He also joins from Uganda. And Kato Tumusiime is a human rights lawyer. He's also joining virtually from Uganda. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. All right, let me start with you, Kato. Kato, Uganda's police force was established in 1906 under colonial rule and has historically served political order. Now, how does this legacy continue to shape the institution's role, particularly when it comes to elections today?
The police is an institution that is created by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as any other armed force in Uganda. But the challenge we have is that even when the article that provides for that police to be put in place, including the Uganda Police Act, is that they are not acting and living what is they are supposed to be living to, putting into consideration the neutrality, the impartiality, and treating Ugandans as a whole without discriminating from one another depending on the color. But the challenge has come in that the UPDF, Uganda Defense Forces, now have become at the forefront of leading and taking the leadership positions in the Uganda Police Force. And that's where the problem has started from. That the mindset of the Uganda Police has been different from the mindset of the UPDF, but because now the people at the center leadership of the Uganda Police are the people from the UPDF who have and lack the quality training that the Uganda police people go through. That's where the problem comes in. And that the people that are being given opportunities and big positions, promotions in the Uganda police are getting that as an incentive because of what they have done for the ruling party. Most people have argued, and which I believe that it is true, that the Uganda police now is an extension of the NRM party, which is the political party in leadership, and that one you cannot bias it. It has been more visible from the 2020 2021 elections, and now it has got worse from these elections on the campaign period as we near up. That the treatment they give the opposition side is not the same treatment they give the people in government, and that's where we go hands off and tell them that, look, you are diverting from what you are supposed to be doing, from what the law commands you to be doing, and then you are doing something different, including the leadership of the Uganda police, the Inspector General of Police, who has failed to use the mandate to command and call to order the people that are supposed or that he leads in the Uganda police to act according to the law, to respect, promote, and preserve the human rights. But he has failed and he's sleeping on the job. He's only left to come and address the place and tell us what has happened, citing different things from what has been visibly seen from ground and the scene.
All right, thank you for that analysis, Kato. Let me leave you and bring Daron into the conversation. Daron, In November 2020, protest over Bobi Wine's arrest left more than 100 persons dead. Now, what does this statistic reveal about the scale of coercive policing, and how might similar tactics affect voter confidence in 2026, this year's election? I'm sorry, we are unable to hear you. We will, of course, come back to you. But I'll direct that question to, of course, Kato back. Sorry, Sam. Sam, if you can hear me. Sam Wanda, if you can hear me. I mean, how does the November 2020 protest, for instance, how do you think it will impact on voter confidence in this year's election?
Thank you so much. We are all alive to the fact of what transpired in November 2020. We've never received an official communication from the government on actually the number of people that were killed in the protests for those 2 days. A few nationwide media houses try to account and list people who had died in those riots. Definitely it has an impact on the credibility of the elections, but also on the confidence of people coming out in their large numbers to attend to such elections. Why do we say so? We are in a state that believes in brutality, and therefore even citizens know that the state is eagerly waiting to brutalize us at any time we come out to express our dissent or to express our support of a particular candidate who may not be in line with the candidate that the state wants to protect. So when that happens, then it leaves majority of the people not in a situation where they can come out to vote. When you look at our voter turnout for the previous election, 2021, we had almost over half of the registered voters not turning up to vote. And this is not by mistake. It's intentional, and still Electoral Commission has not come out to give confidence and certainty to the voters through voter education, and also guaranteeing them that they are in charge, that everyone who comes out to vote will be protected by the law and no one will harm them. So it's the deaths during the trials still linger in people's minds, and people today even fear to attend some rallies because they do not know what the action of police will be, also depending on what they normally see today, where people are tear gassed and beaten every time.
All right. I believe we, of course, have Daron back. Now, Daron, if you can hear me, President Museveni has been in power since 1986, making him one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. Now, my question is pretty much simple. What are the chances of the opposition in this election?
Quite interesting. When I had my colleague talk about, I call him a colleague because I think we all share the same. We've studied before here and there. The thing is that you have to look at what is the civic education level in the country. How much notice that most of them are not even ready for election. Just today morning, I conducted a dipstick, that is just a sample of our research, which showed me that very many people don't even have the voter ID or the national ID that should be allowing them to go to the polls so that they are able to go and vote. This is a weakness on the Electoral Commission, and this is why the numbers keep declining. Today, if you walk out randomly and ask the person, do you know where you're going to vote from? They don't know. That is, for the first time, I must say this, that I have not seen much advertising or much education by the Electoral Commission. And a few people who have tried to come out and try to educate people on where they can vote from, on how they can find this information. Unfortunately, they are in jail as I speak right now. Human rights activities, one of the ladies called Dr. Sarah Birete was putting out some websites trying to tell people, if you want to really get information on where you can vote from, please use this website. And this is the reason why while she's in jail. And others, they're trying, the UCC is trying to walk around and see that they put down that website, even from where it is best from. Now, to be very honest, I have come to realize that number two, also, people have feared for the unknown. If you talk about the November numbers of people who were killed and the security, we don't have a conclusive report, but somehow it's been mentioned here and there on the couple of people, or maybe so many people wanted to cause this kind of chaos, burn down petrol stations, but they're innocent ones at these few who died in that confusion and chaos. Now, people have that fear of what is going to happen. What is it going to look like post-election? Because the questions we're putting out every now and then about made to the authorities that assure us this is not going to happen, or the internet is going to be cut off, or assure us that number two, we are not going to have post-election violence, or we are not going to have experience violence on the same day. For the first time, I have come to learn, not only learning, but I've experienced this, that for the first time, the government authorities, police, UPDF, which is the security, the army section, the EC, comes out and emphasizes something that people should not stay at the polling station after voting. Yes, the law says that they should stay 20 meters away from the gazetted place where they're supposed to be electing, but the emphasis of go home has become louder than we've ever seen it. I mean, it's the really first time we see the authorities pushing.
Sorry, because we need to go, I need to get something here. You said the emphasis of go home has become louder. I'd like you to speak on that more in 30 seconds. What do you mean? Did you get my question?
From at least my experience of covering this in Malawi, go to Botswana, the more people are brutalized, or maybe people face violence during and maybe post-elections or during their campaigns, the more they actually come out and vote. Unfortunately, the fear that can be created with the pictures that you see on the internet today, just put up another video where a journalist is being brutalized. And you're thinking, if this is exactly what is going to happen, like what we experienced in a by-election just a few months ago, where people were beaten, then there will be fear that someone can actually walk to a polling station to go and elect.
All right, thank you very much.
In their civic duties.
Thank you.
I see numbers coming out, but they will not. They may be as many, maybe more than what we saw in 2021, because COVID was a problem. But they may not be beyond 60% of the registered numbers of voters.
All right, thank you very much for that, Daron. Kato, I would also throw the same question to you. 30-second response. Chances of the opposition in this election?
Chances of the opposition are very minimal, depending on the visibility they have on the ground and how they are being actually distracted from conducting its campaigns, how they are arresting a number of opposition supporters and people, the stronghold, including the candidate itself. And leveled ground that we don't believe that the Electoral Commission that is making all these pronouncements of go home immediately after voting, having copied it from the CDF, the commander in chief of the defense forces, will also actually the kind of intimidation, and this has been emphasized by a number of people. So, curtailing people from accessing the polling station itself, curtailing and stopping people from accessing the rally centers will reduce the number of the opposition supporters, not only the opposition supporters, but they will be the majority and the most affected people. So I don't believe much, even when they have put up a very big fight to traverse the country to rally for supporters, they will be stopped and blocked from voting. If you can find out that yesterday a government newspaper published that somebody has hacked the system of the election voters. Now, the number of voters that are supposed to vote and their details, what do you expect that when we have about 7 days to vote? It means that this somebody must have been planted by the government to just destabilize the whole process. So we don't believe that this election will be free and fair. And I strongly say that the chairman of the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Commission itself has failed on its civic duty to conduct and have free and fair elections in Uganda. So there is nothing much that I expect with this kind of incompetence that is being shown, with this kind of partiality that is being shown by the body that is supposed to conduct elections.
All right, Sam Wanda, I would also ask you, ahead of this election, in spite of the many challenges, would you say anything at all has been put right?
Beg your pardon?
In spite of the many challenges ahead of this election, would you say anything at all has been put right?
It's unfortunate that we do not learn from our past. Yet history tells us that we need to learn from our past. We expected to have a better election than we had for the past cycles. 2021, we had COVID, so the numbers were minimal. Campaigns were literally limited, even to those who could attend the rallies. The voter turnout was less. As I said earlier, not more than 50% of the registered voters turned out to vote. Actually, someone made a joke the other day and said that the people who did not vote, if they come out to vote, they would win all the candidates who participated in the elections in 2021. Now, the Electoral Commission has done nothing. One, to improve on the civic education to the citizens. The Electoral Commission has sided with the oppressor and has failed to ably defend the constitution that actually creates it. Why do I say so? Is that the same Electoral Commission is telling people to go away after voting. Yet the same law, the Presidential Elections Act, allows voters to stay within 20 meters from the polling station. Now, the same Electoral Commission is mandated legally to share the final register that it will use in the elections 14 days prior to the election day. And 14 days prior to the election day, the latest they would have done that would have been 31st of December. Today, the 6th of January, we do not have the final register shared with the political parties. I saw a letter today from the Secretary General of the National Unity Platform reminding the Electoral Commission of its constitutional mandate. Now, if we're in a situation where we do not know the number of voters who are going to vote, issues of multiple voters with the same names, only differing faces, because the National Unity Platform raised it, we have the same voter born in the same date, same month, same year,
all right.
Same parish, different villages, and different faces were in the register. Now, the Electoral Commission cannot come out to rectify that and also provide us with the final register to enable political parties to scrutinize these registers before the polling day. We do not expect that the Electoral Commission has done good or is actually striving to improve our electoral process for it to be fair and free on the face of it.
All right, thank you so much for your time on the program, gentlemen. Sam Wanda, the managing partner, Matsiko Wanda and Arinda Advocates, joining from Uganda. Daron Bartlett, a journalist also from Uganda, and Kato Tumusiime is a human rights lawyer also from Uganda. Gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure. Well, this, of course, is the beat we will be taking on the program today. In case you missed out, you can catch up across our social media platform. Until we come your way again on one slot, many thanks for joining. Goodbye.